I got my notes. Oh, wow. Hey, Jeanette, you quick over there with the clicker.
Because you know what's going to happen if we keep
Y'all,
doing.
I don't know if y'all are watching this video. This is my new pose. Look at there. Look at there.
Yes.
Hey, ladies. Good morning. Good afternoon.
morning.
Good night to wherever you are watching all over the world.
I feel like we haven't done this in forever, but I know
I know we have not. Well, hello. Welcome. Episode
Yes.
62, y'all. Check this out.
It's
The
crazy.
power of forgiveness and letting go. If you're watching this video, you may notice something a little bit different. Our grand expert here, resident expert, Jeanette, has created these beautiful virtual backgrounds for us.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Check it out. Look at y'all. We official, but we've been official, right? So let's rock this episode. Okay.
Stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready, right, Linda?
There you go. That's right. That's right. Well, welcome,
Right.
welcome. You'll also notice something else. Our Heartbeats t-shirts, please check it out. Heartbeats. Go to our website. Hit us up on IG, Facebook, all over the world, as Shauna would say. The mugs, the merch is all in there. So we wanted to kind of get a quick plug in for that. The journal, Igniting Your Fuego or Ignite Your Fuego. That's what we are here to do. And for today's topic, again, the power of forgiveness and letting go. Wow, Shauna, you had some bullets that you were, wow, she's ingesting those bullets. You are ready. So I'm gonna say, Shauna, I'm gonna throw it over to you to kick this off because these are great topics as we continue our power series. And we're super excited to bring you any and everything in this power universe. Okay, hashtag, I'm gonna have to add something to that because I don't want 50 Cent to come looking for me. So
Like that.
What? Man, 50 ain't coming.
yeah, he coming looking for me.
I
Like,
don't know.
it's my
50,
power
50
universe.
He be
I
suing
know.
people. Let me
I
tell
don't
you.
want to show up as a meme on his IG. So
50 don't care if it's $3. He want all
true
his
that.
money.
He wants his money. Right.
Ain't me.
Yes. Shauna, you want to start with the power of forgiveness and letting go? Had a great conversation earlier.
Yes. Where to start?
Go for it. Okay, so move up to
Okay.
your mic a little bit. Young lady, speak into the mic.
Okay. Can you
There you
hear me
go.
clearly? Can you hear me? Can you
Yes.
hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. The power of forgiveness. First of all, forgiveness is always about you. Sometimes we get twisted and we think that, we think it's for the other person or for the situation or for the circumstances that's going on, when in reality, it's about you. It's about freeing yourself from being tied to that situation or circumstance. It's not easy. It's not easy to forgive. It's not. Human naturally is, at least I'm going to speak for myself. There are some things that's happened in my life that I held on for a long time. I can't believe I'm going to admit this. I was the kid in elementary school, junior high school. If I felt like I was wrong, if somebody did something to me that I didn't like, a classmate, I would write their name down in a notebook. And just hold on to the fact that I don't care for you. I wasn't trying to do anything wrong. But I made note of it. Like I made note of all the pain, of all the ridicules. Oh, you made fun of me. Oh, you didn't make me feel good. I don't know. I just made notes of it. I made mental notes. I wrote names down. Anyway, so it was really hard and difficult. And I'm going to be honest with you. I come from a family that they have a very hard time forgiving. This lifetime, they do. It's very strong in my Hispanic side. It's extremely strong. And it's something that I've been working on to be a model, to let go of things like that, so that the family can flourish and grow. And because we waste so much time not forgiving each other, and then we end up holding grudges, and all of it becomes, it's a total unhealthy activity that takes you to different places that will affect your mental stability for life. So I had to get a grip on that as I was getting older, and it's like, I got to let certain things go. And I still had a couple things inside of me that I felt like I needed to really work on really hard after my late husband passed away. It was something that he was helping me with. And he was not, I feel like, Linda, you are more aligned with this part of Lorenzo's personality. There's a lot of things about Lorenzo that reminds me of you. It's crazy. For Lorenzo, that was never a challenge for him. Mm-hmm. He never really had to be in a place of major places of like forgiving people or holding anything. It was just like, you do you, I'm gonna do me. And he never took things personal. That's what it was. He never really took things personal.
Yeah.
So he taught me a lot about the importance of letting it go and who it was for. And so I feel like I've mastered the game of forgiveness. I feel I'm at my freest that I've ever been in my entire life. And I feel really good about who I am, where I come from, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm experiencing the letting go process right now with a lot of personal things that I have been holding on to and dealing with my whole life. And I'm very proud of myself because I feel good. And it's important to have your mental health together.
For sure. And you're a testament to doing the work too. I think all of us are. You just feel lighter in that concept. Just, things happen to you and people handle it in different stages of their lives, whether you internalize it, whether you need to talk to somebody about it to kind of get it off of your chest. I think all of us have had something in our lives, a few somethings that have probably happened to us that make forgiveness a little bit harder. But I went to a church some years back, and at one point that one of the folks had made was, the power of not forgiving someone is keeping a person in your own personal little jail cell. It's like, you're in my jail, I'm going to keep you in there. And I thought that was a great analogy, but that as you're keeping them in that little cell, you're not healing, you're corroding.
You're in jail too.
You locked up with them.
You're right. Because you're keeping them. I'm gonna put you in my own personal jail. So you're gonna suffer along with me. But you have to think about that. You feed into that, and you have to. You're keeping that alive. Versus the letting go part is okay. I'll let you go. Maybe I might be a little more cautious if I decide to roll with you again in any kind of circumstance or concept. But yeah, I think that's an excellent point.
Yeah. Forgiveness is just, it's not easy. I know we talk about it. I know it's something that it's like a muscle, like you have to work it out and work on it constantly. But I know there's like these big moments in our life where we have to forgive people and like these big, huge things that happen. But then also there's like this daily forgiveness of people and seeing people for who they are and their own personal life struggles and issues when, people wrong you, like those little microaggressions that people have against you. And then you don't realize you're holding those things against people and how it's eating at you. And so Linda, I talked to you and Shauna both about like the book that I'm reading at work, Crucial Conversations. And I was thinking about how that really plays into this, because just even in that, like forgiving people of microaggressions so that you can have like a crucial conversation with them to even be able to move forward. And sometimes it can lead to amends, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just like, look, we're not going to see eye to eye on these things, and then you choose to move on from that person. But being able to take yourself out of it and see, like, I know forgiveness is for you, but sometimes also like taking yourself out of a situation and looking at why that person, offended you in the way that they did, or, came at you. And it's not always.
That's the hard part, because there's that lesson that's in there for you. There's seasons and reasons and why you're connected for whatever the reasons are. And it's always, at the end of the day, it's always about what you learned about yourself. Yes. And that's so hard to bring that back around. You're like, no, it's about this person.
Right. Yeah. Or even trying to give people grace for like, the baggage that they're carrying. And so which adds up why they are the way that they are. And it's like, I don't want to. They had bad behavior, period. I don't want to, give them the benefit of the doubt or say that, this is some childhood deep. Yeah, that what they need to get them. They need to work on themselves. But at the end of the day, the only person you can change is yourself, and you can't change other people. So you have to figure out a way to change your own, like, I guess, like the things like Linda said, that you're holding yourself in bondage or holding other people in bondage.
Yeah, yeah, and they may not change. The people may not change, but I think the behavior that we put out there, we may have to change our approach with them because otherwise we'll never move on. It's somebody has wronged you, things have happened. You know, we're living in crazy times right now with this pandemic, and you know, people's emotions are heightened, you know, for good reason. And it's not to say that we continue to make excuses for people's behavior. However, you want to make sure that, okay, I just know how I have to handle you, but I'm going to forgive the situation and move on, whether that means not talking as much to someone or not engaging in situations where you know that, ooh, that person's gonna come out their mouth wrong. They're gonna fly out and say something that could be perceived, and it probably is, as unforgivable. But you just have to kind of let go and just move forward, and not keep putting yourself back in those sort of situations.
Yeah, definitely.
It could be, and also you brought up a good point where when you stay in there longer than you need to be, you're actually delaying them from growing. You're in there.
Say that a little louder. Say that a little louder. And again,
I said Linda brought up a good point with that, because when you stay in something a little longer than needed to be, like not letting go or going through the forgiveness stage, you are delaying that person to grow.
Yep. Because then
we're blocking them. We're their pacifier.
Yeah. Because they're not being held accountable, or it's not even being brought to light about their bad behavior. So then they can't even have their own moment to reflect on what happened and what might have went wrong, or, you know, cause things to go the way they did, and their part in it.
I like that too. Yeah. A lot of our human nature is to fix it. Maybe it doesn't need to be fixed.
Oh, yeah, especially maternity.
I'm guilty of that. I'm like, oh man, I got my hammer, I got all my tools. You know, I'm watering other people's grass, and my grass is just as dry back here. I'm like, okay, nope, I got to water my own grass now. And maybe that takes time away, and it gives that person or people space to think about, you know, what has gone on, what has transpired. But meanwhile, we're moving forward, watering our grass, taking care of our plants, you know, taking care of ourselves, our self-care, and kind of let them, because I know I'm a fixer. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to fix this. And it has bitten me in the butt many, many times.
It's like drilling a nail into a wall. And instead of stopping when it's flush, like, you're just going to keep going in deeper. Like, like sometimes you gotta just let stuff, you just gotta stop, like having that's so exhausting, just like talking about the same thing over and over and over again. And there was something that they said in this book, and I'm probably gonna refer to it a few times because it's like fresh in my mind, is if you keep having the same conversation with people, then you're the problem, because you're not addressing the actual issue. You're addressing all this other stuff that isn't hitting the issue. So if you say what you need to say about what's really bothering you, and not all this other stuff, and address the issue, then you can move forward from it. But like, if you keep finding yourself having the same conversation with people over and over again, then you might be your own problem, and bringing that stuff back to you. And then just something that's worth mentioning is that, and I'm sure people have heard this before, it's not a new statement, but letting go does not mean forgetting. And that's why so many people struggle with forgiveness and letting go, because they feel like it means that they have to forget that what people did to them, or how they treated them, or the act that happened. I know you can remember, because you need to protect yourself. You need to be able to set boundaries going forward. So just because you let go of a situation doesn't mean that, you know, you just forgive and forget. No.
Yeah.
I don't even know how anybody can forget. That's one thing that's not a problem for me. I'm not going to forget.
Yeah.
I'm like an elephant.
You don't make the same mistakes.
But they say the elephant never forgets.
That's a great memory.
Yeah.
That's me. I may not remember what you said, but I remember how you made me feel. And that's more deeply, you know, embedded into somebody's soul. Back to what you was talking about, Jeanette, when you said that when you find yourself repeating the same things over and over again, that's let's just put a pin in that right there. Because that is an issue. That is an issue that only you can own. because that's your behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
That's your response. That's your mechanism. That's how you're surviving in this situation. And that's where I would say writing down your feelings and your emotions and meditating on it and processing it and flesh it out so that you can get out of the weeds when you do need to have a discussion or deliver. If you're in a situation where you can, if it calls to face, because a lot of forgiveness, you can't even get to the person. The person might not even be walking on this earth, and you still hold a grudge with them.
Yeah,
we know
exactly.
stories like that. So then
Oh
they
my
tell you
goodness.
the letter.
And then mad because you're not here no more, so they can get their closure that they needed.
Right. Exactly.
Like they literally
that's
have
a good
moved on.
Exactly. So you're right. That means you need to sit down in your feelings and you need to figure out what is it that's really, really annoying you with this situation and get out of the weeds. And then you can figure out a solution for yourself, you know, where you can come out of it in a more healthy, on the healthier side of things.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe looking at other people who are doing that work and sort of like, wow, how did you, because we all know of situations, friends, family members, how did they get through maybe a situation? It could be just connecting with another person that has done the work in that forgiveness area and maybe taking some tips, not an exact blueprint, but maybe it's taking some tips from them to see how they walk that path. Because it takes a few times, takes a few tries to get it right. And yeah, I mean, I've been in situations, I've been in situations where, wow, this person handled that so gracefully. What could I have done differently? And it's like, all right, now I think I know what I need to do. It's going to take the work to do it. And then you get to that forgiveness and you get to that letting go piece. And the next thing you know, you do feel lighter. You wake up and you look around and you're like, wow, it's been a little bit of time. I feel good. I feel lighter. I feel like I've made progress. And sometimes you may not even notice it right away, but it may take maybe a statement or something will happen, and you wake up and realize this is where I am right now.
I'm so grateful for. I'm not grateful for losing the amount of people that we have during the pandemic. Yet I am grateful for this opportunity of pausing and reflecting the way we've had to the last 2.5 years, 2 years. It has, I remember when everything was dark and we only had each other holding the candle. What's going to happen with the world, right? Yeah. And I remember the three of us came together and was like, this is a great opportunity to really home in and get some deep inner work done without all of the noise. And I remember thinking, how my life, or where am I going to be at in 2 years from now? Thinking about that, even though we didn't know what was going to go down, and just seeing the heart of chat and how we persevered and how much we have grown since then. And it's just so obvious of the work that the three of us are doing and continuing to do. And we have a special relationship with our heartbeats, and we know our heartbeats. We know their lifestyles. We know what matters to them. And it feels so good to know that our heartbeats are going along this journey with us. It just feels amazing. And I'm really grateful that we had this opportunity and time to put in our non-negotiables in place and to, get things going. I just feel like if forgiveness was something that needed to be looked at, which I know for me it was the last 3 years. I had to look in the mirror with some of the things that I needed to get together. And I'm so proud of myself that I was not afraid to take the challenge on, because it's challenging.
It is. And story time, no.
Yes.
Just a small snippet, but because it's not just my story, but my husband and I, we dealt with some difficulties early on in our marriage, and we've been together for years off and on, and then we got married or whatever after having some babies, but just early on, we dealt with some challenges, and I made a choice to forgive and to stay in the marriage. And let me tell you something, there's something about having, like, if you want to know the difference between a friend and like a good friend or a great friend or an amazing, incredible friend, it's the difference in the people who are not afraid to tell you the truth. They do not care. They care, but I'm your friend. And because I'm your friend, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I had made
Yes.
the choice with my mind, not my heart, because my heart still wasn't ready to forgive, but my mind said, you love this guy, you have a family, you know, and I made the choice to forgive my husband. And but then, you know, because the heart wasn't there yet, I was still saying this and saying that and talking negatively and doing that. And my friend stopped me one day. She said, look, did you decide that you was going to forgive him? I said, yeah. And she said, and has he done everything in his power to show you that he is not the person that he was before you, you know, that caused you to have to even forgive him? I said, yes, he's done everything in his power to show me different. She said, then you got to let that go and move on. Because either you're going to really forgive and move forward and accept what he's done as true, or you're going to not forgive, and then you need to let him go, because it's not fair to him to say, oh, I forgive you, but then I'm gonna hold this over your head, or you know, live in resentment. And that definitely clicked in me, and it changed the way I thought. And I was like, you know what, she's right. I need to. And she's the one that's like, I don't be giving no relationship advice, girl, please. But I mean, that was some really hard, good advice. And yeah, and it clicked for me. And sometimes our heart isn't always there, but we know we have to do it, or we know we need to do it. And especially if it's a relationship that you care about and you want to keep, because sometimes, you know, forgiveness, you forgive, you move on, and you let the people go, but you let it go. And sometimes you forgive and you keep those and maintain those relationships that matter to you. But then you have to like really forgive them. You can't every time something new happens, oh, well, remember you did this or that. Like that's not forgiveness.
Right.
That's hard. True. It is very hard. It's very hard, difficult. But at the same time, that was great advice from your friend Jeanette.
Oh, yeah.
I think, you know, I think the three of us are very blessed in that aspect, that we have great friends and a great tribe. And I think some people listen to this may think, oh my goodness, I don't necessarily have that, but what can I do to either get that or get that sound advice? I would say first, listen to the podcast. So yeah, that could be like a little insert a little infomercial here.
Shameless plug.
Exact shameless plug. But yes, first do that, you know, connect with, you know, people who are like-minded, whether in your circle. Don't be afraid to reach out to us or someone else that you may trust. And that's another way. And then looking at, okay, so, you know, you may see what people, sometimes we see on the outside, we see that, oh, this person appears to be, you know, doing work, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that they probably went through to get to where we are today, right? So the three of us, very vibrant, you know, we're excited, we're just, you know, our skin, and we're just like, you know, all this glowing, right? So you may see, but it took a minute to get to this glow. So find out what those people did or what we've done to get to that glow. So that, I think that's part of it. And then, you know, you practice the forgiveness, and eventually you're like, I always say, things start to lift and you feel better. And there may be another situation that may come through where it would require your forgiveness. And then, okay, maybe use some of that with what you've done the work in, and continue that process, because things are going to happen in life. We're going to have to forgive something else down, or maybe this time it'll be the job or something that they did there. I mean, it's just it's a continuous process. But look at how, you know, if you don't have anybody to connect with, again, look at how other people have done the work, and look at how they show up.
Yeah, and I would say connect in with the Heart of Chat Collective. We have a membership group, and you can do just what Linda said. Within our membership group, you get bonus episodes, you get access to our private Facebook group where you can connect with some women and find some people that you can share some of these experiences with, and you can chat about the episodes together, and, you know, share some best practices. We even do workshops. We just did one this past Friday, with some of our heartbeats in our group. It was amazing. And so we just provide you with additional tools and resources through our membership for the low price of $15 a month. You can go to our website under our membership, and you can join at any time, at any point.
Yes, thank you for that, Jeanette. And yes, Shauna, thank you for that initial plug too, because it really is so important. Our heartbeats are wonderful. I mean, where we're connected, we have, you know, a couple dozen, beautiful heartbeats have joined us so far. So yeah, I would say, get in there. They all come from different backgrounds. They're all doing the work, beautiful people. And I love how they shout us out on their social platforms. And then they're connecting with each other too. And a lot of them have passions and entrepreneur aspirations. They're also doing self-care, self-work aspirations that they're doing on a daily basis. And we love hearing from them. Maybe, you all out there, you join our community, you'll be inspired by some of the work that they're doing and seeing what they're doing in there. So yes. Thank you, ladies, for that.
Thank you.
It is. It really is.
To the piece, Jeanette, you were talking about having honest friends around you or people that would and when you're going through something like this, this is not like, you don't want to hold this kind of stuff by yourself. Like you really need to. Do I need to turn it up?
Wherever you are right now is good.
A little bit closer.
Okay.
Look, y'all see me a little bit closer.
I was speaking to a friend the other day, a close friend, I would say my sister now. And we were talking about how we felt bad for a lot of people that don't have anybody to talk to or don't have anybody that they can brain dump to, or, the power of the pen. Okay, let's start with that. Looking in the mirror and reflection. If you don't have nobody, you got to use yourself, honestly, because at the end of the day, you know what you need. You know what you got to do to motivate yourself. You know what you're supposed to be doing to be the best version of yourself. You really do. All the answers are inside of you.
Yeah.
There's nothing like having that extra cherry on top to tie in with relationships and bonds and things like that. So I often say, a lot of people, they say to me, oh, I wish I had a tribe. Am I quiet? Y'all still can't hear me?
No. You know, she knew I was going to fall for it.
I was telling Linda to be quiet.
I was like, what is that? You got Chick-fil-A over there?
Oh.
Okay. See, Jeanette knew I was going to fall for it. That's why she did. Ooh.
What is that? Chips?
Oh, I love that popcorn. Oh.
I'm hungry. Go ahead.
Well, I was saying,
sorry,
it's hard to chat. You can eat, drink, and be merry.
Yes, there you go.
Hard to chat. We love all of that. TV shows,
sorry,
everything.
Yeah, that looks
no
really
apologies.
Yeah, so the power of the pen. I agree, Shauna.
The power of the pen, right? The power of all that. But honestly, y'all, people are like, oh, I wish I had a tribe. I wish I had, this, that, or the other. Honestly, like, really, it only takes one other person outside of you to be your tribe. You don't have to have 10 people.
That is
Some
so
people
true.
look at the word tribe and they thinking it's supposed to just be mounds and mounds and mounds of folks, or inner circle and outer circle. And no, it just only needs to be one person.
Well, and also it doesn't have to be like a group together, right? Like they think that, oh, well, if I don't have like a circle of 3 of us, we're all friends, or 4 or 5 of us. No, your tribe is a collective of people all over. Yes. I have friends that I talk to about relationships. I have friends that I talk to about spirituality. I have friends that I talk to about health or kids. And then I have YouTube, I talk about everything. But it can, like, you can put your tribe, piece them things together and put it all together. That is your
What's amazing is that you get to choose, you get to pick. I've always heard this, and I love this saying. Some people feel like you choose your family, but that's a whole nother topic. But most people believe that you are born into a certain family, but you get to choose your friends and create a different type of family structure for yourself. So you get to choose. You get to find a match energy, and you get to choose.
Yeah, that's true.
But I wouldn't think about adding any of that until you got to a certain place where you feel confident in certain areas of your lives to want to share and be okay with sharing and trusting.
Well, I would say just kind of let it happen naturally then. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You don't always have to go out and seek, but just pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the people who really care, the people that check on you, the people that don't always call you just to talk about their stuff, but also genuinely ask you how you're doing at the same time. Pay attention to Linda. Okay, I'm going to stop now, Linda.
No. I was just praising, like, Lord. Oh no, go ahead, finish your thought, because I had another thought.
No, but so just
Should
pay
that-
attention to those people in your life,
Yeah.
because sometimes we overlook some really amazing people. And it can be the simplest thing of, like, oh, this coworker who always stops by and just say, oh, hey, how you doing? Or, like, did you need anything? I'm heading out, like literally, like, just really be intentional about just watching the people in your life and how they interact with you and how they care for you and show up for you. But then also make sure you're being the person that you want people to be in your life as well.
Yes.
It can't just be one-sided.
Exactly. And it's funny you bring that up. So it's a show. So I'm going to shout out Samara real quick. She's one of our heartbeats. Hey, Samara. So she told me about this show called Abbott Elementary. I don't know if you guys have watched that or many of
Heard
our
about it. The
It's
people
a
are
half an
loving
hour
it.
show, takes place in the Philly school system. Really, it's a trip. So the last episode that was on earlier, or maybe last week, was about family, I guess your work family. And one of the characters they were talking about, wait a minute, I'm not your work family, but I'm here for you every day. What do you mean when we're just like work friends? We're more than that. We're family. So that was really cool, because it's a guy there in the show. Sometimes he didn't feel seen, but his character is hilarious, by the way. The show is getting like mad accolades, like all over the social webs, the interwebs. But it talked about this very topic about family and about, forgiveness and, bringing things to the work. And the lady was hurt. She was like, well, I'm more than just your coworker. I'm actually your family. So seeing that coworker at work, or maybe someone that, you're like, oh, okay, just a simple, how are you? Or what can I do to support you? Things like that. I'm thinking about, I love the show. If y'all get a chance,
We haven't watched it, especially since it's based in Philly.
Yeah, it is. It is
Surprised you haven't watched that.
I mean, I've heard people talk about it, so I never really dived in and looked into it.
It's funny. And this past episode, Maddie and I watched together, and they made a reference to the lady on there was like, what you mean work family? This ain't Dominic Toretto, talking about the Fast and Furious. And Maddie and I screamed at that part, because Fast and Furious is one of our favorite series. So really, really good. And just, you guys check it out. Just a quick sidebar there.
Yeah, of course, they're definitely like work people who I feel like you knew, like, if I was to leave this job, I knew the ones that I was only close to because we were seeing each other every day.
Yes.
And the ones that if I was to leave this job, I know I would continue to have a relationship with them in some type of way. But yeah, there are some that are just but yeah. But you spend a lot of your time with them. It's hard for them not to become, part of your life.
Yeah. A couple of our heartbeats are former and current coworkers. So they're now best of friends. So it's just really, it's cool to see all of that dynamic kind of come together, and how they met and how they connected with us. Maybe we connected with them in other communities, but now they're here too. It's just an amazing journey. So another quick plug for the membership. Yes, I love this topic.
Love it.
Yes, love it.
Shauna, was you going to say something?
No, I was just thinking of the art of forgiveness and just how powerful that is.
Yeah. So real quick, so just like to recap and of course make it kind of actual. So like when you're starting at ground zero, and I think Shauna, you kind of started talking about that, where you somehow it starts with the the power of the pen. So like ground zero, issue presents itself. You're in your feelings, emotional, anger, all the things. How do you start to even begin to wrap your mind around forgiveness or forgiving someone?
I believe it starts with you. You have to take time to process your feelings. You need to really understand why you're hurt, why you're devastated. Because sometimes you may uncover that it really may not have anything to do with that person. It may have everything to do with you. It could be bringing up some old stuff. It could be a trigger. There could be so many reasons.
Oh yeah,
definitely. So I believe that you really need to take the time to process your feelings alone, and writing it down is just something so powerful about.
Yeah. I used to do that as a kid, or even not even just as a kid. I've done it pretty much my whole life. That's what I used to use journaling for. Some people don't like negative journaling, like writing down the bad stuff. It's like, oh, I don't want to write all that. I just want to write the good stuff down. But I believe in like, it's for me, it was always a way to like get it out, like say it.
Yes.
And it'd be so funny. My handwriting will start so neat. And then like I could tell, like if I just flip through my journal, I could tell when I was angry and when I was happy. Because if I'm happy, then it's like very neat, you know, whatever. But then when I'm angry, it's just like half cursive, half not scribble. You can barely read the words sometimes because I'm just like so angry and need to get it out of my system. And then also I do that with people. So like if it's someone I know I can't have a conversation, or I've had the same conversation and not getting it, then I would prefer to just write it and give it to them that way. Because now you can read it and process it.
I'm a letter writer.
Yeah, me too.
Big
Me
time.
too.
I still mail letters.
Good.
The bad, and the ugly. I write it all down. I have to write it out because I can't walk around with all this stuff inside of me. I got so much inside of me. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you process it, right? You figure out what it is that is really going on and what you want to say. Then what?
Reflect on it and figure out what I need to do to move myself out of that space, because it doesn't feel good to be in that space. And it's not good to be in that mental space for a long time either. It's not healthy.
So do you feel like you should have a conversation try to have a conversation with somebody?
If it's a setup in which I can, I prefer to do it in person.
Yeah.
You know, if it's safe and it's that type of a setup where I know, you know, and it could be with a very great friend that even though you know that they understand certain principles, one thing is for certain, you don't really know how a person's feelings are going to be affected by your conversation, even if you know that they're the greatest of friends. So everything that I do, every conversation that I have is always out of a place out of love. That's why I spend so much time processing my feelings and meditating on it, because I want to make sure that the delivery of the message, the intent behind it is correct. It's coming from the right place. And I can't control how they're going to be affected, but I can control how I can deliver it, and I can feel good and have my head up high that I took the time to do that. Yeah. Because I care about, obviously, the person that hurt my feelings or whatever.
Linda, what about you?
Yeah, so after having the conversation, I think that reflection piece is next, and then doing that self check-in to see if you've moved a little bit or a lot towards, you know, the forgiveness side of it, and then that letting go is on the tail end of that, because it's so important to that reflection so that you know that you're not in the same place that you were when you had the conversation. Because it's something about getting it off your chest. Those conversations are hard to have, whether it be in person, whether it be via, you know, FaceTime or even via text, you know, which is like, I don't know if I recommend that depending on how heated it is. But really it's that, you know, that in person, that phone, kind of seeing that eye contact, and those conversations can be hard. So on the tail end of, you know, on the tail end of doing those things, doing that sort of self check-in, which may take a couple of times.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I feel like there's something I was going to say that you said, Linda, about the self check-in, letting go. Shoot, now it went right out my head. Well, anyway, but yeah, I was trying to remember. It's going to drive me crazy now because I really want to remember what I was going to say. Well, moving on. So, so to recap, you write it, you process it. That's what I was going to say. In-person conversation. So when everything gets lost in translation, especially when it's just text. Like writing a letter,
I can't stand it.
Explain stuff more, but like that text back and forth, trying to have a serious conversation.
It's not the right way.
You lose, and I don't care if you throw emojis in there. You lose the what you get
sentiment
in someone's body language and
the sentiment
expression. Yeah, we did this.
There's no sentiment to it.
Mm-mm. Yeah. We did this active listening activity for work for this book club that we have going on, and you had to sit there. And it had some questions, and you know that you can ask, and you had to answer these questions. But the other person that was listening, you couldn't say anything. You couldn't make like, you couldn't do anything. You just had to literally just sit there and make eye contact with them and listen to them talk. And it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, because y'all know in our culture, we talk over people. Like we talk, that's how we communicate. We loud, we talk, we pushing each other, and and so, but just really like practicing like active listening and being able to see someone's body language. The guy that I did mines with, he was saying something that he learned was like if you're talking to somebody and your legs are turned out, that means that you're ready to go. Like you're trying, it's like a non-verbal cue of I don't have a lot of time to listen to this. And so really just leaning in, planting your feet and just listening. Like there's so many things that being able to talk to someone face to face that you do not get that in a text message.
And goes back to our episode, The Power of Silence.
Yeah.
There are those silent moments where the message is much more clear between you and someone else than the actual words that are being exchanged.
Right.
So you miss all of that too.
Yeah, you do. And people sometimes mistake that for not responding to my text right away, or it's been an hour has gone by. And then there's, assumptions in that too. You know what I mean? So I do like that kind of head on sort of in person, but I didn't think about the legs thing. I'm like,
Yeah,
and the legs
for.
So looking at, or people will be looking at their watch while you're talking, or all that. The body language is the most powerful language on earth, because when I was an exchange student to Japan, when I was 16, I didn't have the language down. Most of my communication I knew when they were talking about me, or if they were trying to do something for me or something like that. I got all that from body language. And then when I would explain to them that I understood what was happening in a way that I could, because back then we didn't have the internet. So we had the American and Japanese dictionary book. So we would always have to go to the book to try to explain to each other what we were trying to say, because they didn't speak English and I didn't speak Japanese. So it was a body language thing was the best way that we learned from each other, how we conduct each other, how we move through. It's the same thing that you do as parents. Like when you raising your baby, like baby heartbeat, like she just had a birthday. It's unbelievable.
1 year old. That's
she's a year old already.
Oh, baby.
Love her. And just watching her grow on Marco Polo, and just watching her nonverbal cues and the way she behaves and looks in and gives a smile, and just picking up on that. So nonverbal is universal language, and it is the number one way that you can learn more about each other. We went to body language.
I love that. Yeah. And one of the things, it's this article, and then I'll drop the link to you so you can share it with the heartbeats. But it has some steps on like how to let go and forgive. But one of the last things that they talk about that I like, I'm gonna just read it because it's just easier, because it's not my words. But we'll put the article in our show notes. Is to feel compassion, and what it says about that is finally forgive the person and realize that in forgiveness you are allowing yourself to be happy and move on. Feel empathy for the person and wish happiness on them. Let love for them and life in general grow in your heart. It may take time, but if you're stuck on this point, repeat some of the ones above until you get here. But which they talk about, let peace enter in your life and focus. But like that last one about feeling compassion, but that first line about finally forgive the person and realize that in forgiveness, you are allowing yourself to be happy and move on. And we talk about that. I don't know, did we do a power of happiness? That's what we probably should do, because
that's a good
or
one.
Owning your happiness, because like it is a choice. You choose to be happy, you choose not to be happy. Stuff happens that evokes like other feelings and emotions, but at the end of the day you can choose to whether or not you're going to allow that to just fester and rule your day going forward, or if you're going to just like really allow yourself to be happy regardless of what the hell is happening around you.
I like that.
I like that. Yeah, I was looking for.
I have a lot to speak to that. So I'm not going to say anything right now.
I know. Yeah, I know. Happiness. I don't think we have the power of happiness, though, which is awesome. So taking a note on that. Very, very good. Now I was gonna say when you said that, people, and whether it be at work and they have their feet planted and they're looking at you. I think of some recent interactions where people, I think y'all will laugh. Y'all know where I'm going with this. I'm like, why is he sitting like that? It's like he was ready to go. Because I was in my boss's office. I'm like, I've only been in here one time. I'm like getting on their nerves already. Like, what's going on here?
You know how when you run track and they get down and then they prop up like that. They was ready, Linda. They was ready to sprint.
I don't have much time.
Linda said one key word. It was going to be like, oh, all right, we're done.
I was like, oh, well, shoot. Now I know what that is. Now I'm have to,
Mm-hmm. See, they might not even realize that's what they're doing. But like,
true.
Our body language.
I'm just giving them a hard time, but yeah.
No, it's probably true.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's true. It was true in my case. So, but I'm not taking it personally. I let it go. See how I let that go? Already practicing.
Bye.
Bye.
This was really good. Was there any final thoughts or anything around power, forgiveness, and letting go that y'all feel like y'all wanted to share and didn't get to share with everyone?
Yeah, this was great. I think this is right on target. Right on target.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I really hope this helps someone. And share this, like, right. So share the episode with a friend. Not because you feel like, oh, they need to be but like share the podcast in general. If you like and enjoy and you feel like you get something out of it, share it with someone. Please, if you listen to us on iTunes, rate and review, because that helps us and helps other people find us. So rate, review on iTunes if you can, whenever you can, and share it with as many people as you can. But yeah, Shauna.
Sounds great.
Yeah, that's it. Linda, you have anything else? Everybody good?
Oh, no, we are good. We're going to throw it over to you to tell people where to find us, how they can connect with us.
Now you know where they can find us.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. You can find us everywhere around the world. We are on all major platforms. You can. And we are on a lot of streaming. I've had people reach out to me like, I listened to you on this platform or that platform. So yeah, I always shout out the two main ones, Spotify and Apple, but we are on other platforms.
Yes.
You can find us on YouTube if you want to see us in video or audio, whatever your preference is. So we hope you enjoy this episode, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week, and come next week and every week, because it's going to be fuego, baby. Come back.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, ladies. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.